Hey everybody, this is Brian with Easy Retriever Training, and today we're going to talk about the 2 reasons why adopting a dog from a rescue center or from a local shelter is actually a really good idea. Alright, so let me address this first. If you watched my last video on why I think adopting from a shelter is a bad idea, then you might be curious about why I'm doing now a video about why adopting is a good idea. Well, the reality is there are pros and cons to both. And if you're curious about the pros and cons and you want to see an entire list, then make sure you check out the link to the article that I've got down below. And that'll lay out all of the pros and cons to buying from a breeder, as well as the pros and cons to adopting a dog from a shelter. One of the reasons that I want to talk about, or that I want to address, and this is the first thing we'll talk about, is getting an older dog from a shelter has an enormous amount of advantages. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that I think there's some dangers there as far as you're not sure their background or what breeds they are. If you're experienced around dogs and you're comfortable training dogs through behavior issues, then this isn't a problem for you. In addition to that, everybody who's ever owned a puppy knows that there's some real headaches to that. House training, chewing, barking, crate training. The list of puppy stuff and the headaches that come with puppies goes on and on and on. And so if you have some experience with dogs and you want to kind of skip through the puppy phase, then adopting a dog from a rescue center or a shelter is actually a really, really good idea. Another reason why it's really good idea, or why you can get a little bit of a feel good, is the fact that you're supporting a local, typically a nonprofit organization that does an enormous amount of good for the animals in your local area. Not only for the animals, but also for the people. I mean, think about it. As far as if you've ever been to a little small town where they don't have an animal shelter, or they don't have an animal, population control, they don't have an animal police force, so to speak. I don't even remember what they're called. That go around and kind of keep the strays under control. It is possible that you get packs of these, what used to be domesticated dogs that become, because of necessity, become essentially wild dog packs. And the local shelters and animal control, animal whatever it's called, I'll remember the service as soon as I turn the camera off. Those organizations provide a really valuable service to your community, not only to the dogs because it protects them from starvation and neglect and other things, but also to the people, because as children are around on bikes, wild dog packs, they're a danger, and they're dangerous for people. So especially small people. So there's also kind of the kickback feel good that I'm supporting a nonprofit charitable organization that does a lot of good in my community. All right, and number 3, the bonus reason that I'm going to give you here in the video today is the fact that adopting a dog almost always costs less than buying a new puppy from a breeder. Not only for a couple of reasons. One, just the initial adoption costs, typically anywhere from $150 to $300. If you're buying a new puppy, I bought a puppy from a friend, and I got the friend discount, and it still cost me $600. So that it's way less money the initial purchase. Not only that, if you're buying a large breed dog like a Labrador, Golden Retriever, Great Dane, etc., you're gonna buy. You almost have to buy everything double, because you buy everything for the puppy stage, but they don't stay there forever, and it's not too long, and they've expanded out of, and you've got to buy a second crate and a second collar and second food dishes. All right, so there are the 3 reasons why I think it's not a bad idea to adopt a dog from a rescue center or a shelter. I do think it's really helpful, and it provides a little bit of comfort if you're used to training dogs, you've been around them, and you kind of have a program that you like to follow. That consistency is really going to help an adopted or a rescue dog make a new transition into a happy life. If you're interested in more information, make sure you check out the article below, where I give out all of the pros and cons. It's a comprehensive list. I may have left a couple off there, but it's a pretty detailed list of all the pros and cons to buying puppies from breeders, and the pros and cons to getting a dog from a rescue center or a local shelter near you. Make sure that if you haven't already, that you subscribe, hit the bell below so you don't miss any of our videos that are rolling out. Also, if you haven't, check out the links down below and follow us on Instagram and Twitter, as I'm starting to roll out more and more content on those social media platforms. the more I become familiar with them. So until next time, I'm Brian, and I'll see you in the next video.